Today let's talk about a chest rig that carries everything that you need, but not a lot of people are using it anymore, and that is the Eagle Industries RRV. Again, these things can hold practically everything. They're 16 columns MOLLE wide at their widest point, but they haven't seen a ton of usage in the last 5 to 10 years or so. These were super popular back in the day. We did a video a couple of months ago talking about how these were set up during Operation Red Wings, like a lone survivor type kit, but I thought it'd be a fun exercise to take this chest rig setup that isn't the most modern thing out there and give it the modernization treatment, putting some newer pouches on there from newer manufacturers and seeing how you could set up the RRV, which is a kind of old chest rig, to still be very modern and very usable for airsoft and milsim. So let's take a look at how I have this set up. Right now I have this set up as a dual comm setup if I needed to use 2 radios at once. However, I've laid out the pouches and chosen them specifically so that I can adjust this chest rig as needed depending on what the game calls for. This would be great if I was an RTO and I was going to be on the radios a lot. However, I can easily adjust this without changing pouches if, say, I was a rifleman. If I either needed to carry a lot more mags, or if I just didn't need the radios entirely, I can change out the equipment on this system without needing to change any pouches. So I tried to make this as symmetrical as possible, so we'll start from the middle and work our way in. The first pouch that I want to talk about is the S-Tac Triple Shingle. I chose this because in a lot of modern designs, I've fallen in love with open top pouches, primarily the Spirit of Systems Mark III, Mark IV, and ultimately Mark V chest rigs. I love the Kangaroo pouches that they have there with their open top magazines, so I wanted to keep that with this particular setup. With old school RRVs, it was always closed top magazine pouches, and I didn't quite want that. So S-Tac fit the bill the best. I could have done something like HSGI tacos. However, when I was originally thinking about this, I wanted to have the MOLLE space on the front available if I wanted to put something there, like either additional slots for rifle magazines, like a Blue Force gear pouch that sits really low. If I wanted to put a general purpose pouch up there, I found that it just sticks out a little too wide, or anything else. I feel like the S-Tacs are much better at doing that than the tacos. So these work really well, I would say, for airsoft purposes. The 3 high S-Tacs, which 3 rows, are a little too much retention for most airsoft magazines. I would go down to the 2 highs, but this works plenty fine. Now, on each side of that, I have replicas of the Crye 556 762 embedder style pouches. These are actually the exact same pouch here. I just have them in 2 different configurations to show you how they can work. They can either be your typical flapped pouch, or they can have a bungee flap over the top. Personally, I tend to prefer the way that it goes on this side. However, for some bigger radios, this is the easier way to do it. And the reason I chose these is not only do they hold most airsoft radios fairly efficiently, like the Baofeng UV5R, the UV82, some Motorola radios that I use for staff work at Gun Gamers Productions, but they can also hold 2 M4 magazines, or they can hold a Odin Innovations speed loader. So depending on what I'm doing in this particular game, again, they can hold rifle magazines, they can hold radios, they can hold Odins. There's a ton of different things that I can put in these pouches, which is why I love them. They're highly versatile, and if I did need to swap out for something else, I'm sure it could fit in there. Small water bottles, Gatorades can fit in these as well, so they are incredible. So on the right-hand side of the rig, the pouch that'll be under my right arm, I have my canteen pouch. This is a little bit of old school flair for this, admittedly. This is an old school Eagle Industries one in Ranger Green. This is a V1, and the thing about the V1s that I really hate, and I recommend you find a V2, is if I unbuckle this, there's a bunch of elastic at the top. And the elastic is super, super difficult to get things in and out of, like that canteen that's in there, for example. So I would highly recommend to get a V2, or if you buy a V1, get rid of this elastic. I'm actually going to cut it out after we're done with this video. I just wanted to be able to show it to you. But I like these old school general purpose pouches because they can be used for canteens, they can be used for, just general purposes, and they can also hold a PVS-14 night vision unit. I like to couple these with the protective insert that they make for these canteen pouches, which with the V1s and that elastic up there are a pain in the ass to get in and out. So cut it out before you use it for that. This can hold water, this can hold night vision. It is an incredibly durable pouch. It can hold stuff. They are incredible, and I highly, highly recommend them. Moving back to the other side, we've got 2 LBT style frag grenade pouches over here. Right now I have the bottom one mounted upside down just because I wanted to try something out that was a little bit different so that I could open it And these ones have Velcro on the flap as well, which is a little bit hard for me to get where I'm sitting. But, you know, they're standard frag grenade pouches. I just wanted to try one inverted to see if it would actually help and make it easier to get out there. Otherwise, they just sit on top of each other. And then finally, the last pouch that I have that I want to mention is this Spirit of Systems wide general purpose pouch. And the way that I have this mounted is an old school RRV trick where you only mount the top layer of moly. So essentially there's a layer underneath these mag pouches and you only weave through the top one and then weave the rest of it through the pouch. I hope that's showing up on camera for you guys. And then that gives you an old school Dangler. You know, it doesn't have any Velcro because this is an older system, but I really like how this works. And in here, a bunch more general purpose stuff. I use the front one as kind of like an admin, maybe my dead rag, whatever it may be. But I just love having stuff in the front. Again, something that I got from using a lot of Spirit Systems products. So I like being able to carry that over. And the Spirit Systems GPs are nice because they are lined with Velcro. This one in particular has some mesh on the inside and Velcro on the outside pocket. Right now I have a complete cookie, a spare battery, and a LiPo tester in there as well. I don't have this exactly loaded up for a game, but you know, just to give you an idea of what should be in here. And then the other cool thing about the RRV is kind of what it has on the back and what the straps are capable of. So we'll flip this over real quick. And something that's neat about the RRV is it has this panel that can fold up and attach to the shoulder straps. It works kind of similar to like a JTech Mark II, which is where I think they got the idea from the RRV. And the cool thing is not only does it have a little admin pouch right here that's Velcro openable, I've got a little VX17 panel in there right now, which probably doesn't show up on camera, but now you can see it. It has Molly, but this also allows you to put a plate in the back, which is really cool. I don't have one to show you, but essentially the plate goes back in here, ducks in up here, and then this strap and this Velcro piece hold it in. So if you wanted armor, that is totally possible. You know, in the world of airsoft, you would need a back plate as well if you're at Milsim West, but you could put an ice plate or something like that in there. And again, it just anchors to the shoulder straps with these two little pieces here. If I flip it over, that might make just a little bit more sense where it hooks into these little rings. And then you have some space up top if you wanted to run a phone board or something like that. That is totally an option with this. So again, it makes this older chest rig really viable for modern day operations. The one main thing about this that you don't get advantages of with newer equipment is it doesn't take swift clips. It just predates that technology. However, they did make old school map packs that would clip right into this. They are getting outrageously hard to find, and when you do find them, they are expensive. But yeah, this is how I have the RRV set up. I can go out and play a 12-hour game with this easily. And it has a little bit of old school flair, and I still definitely love it. You know, there's plenty of room on the shoulder pads, which are padded, shoulder straps that are padded so that it's a little bit more comfortable, but I absolutely love this thing. So that's how I have my RRV set up. I do think that there are some modern chest rigs that can do the same thing, maybe better than the RRV, but before we talk about those, I do just want to take a moment to thank our channel members for making today's video possible. If it wasn't for them, the BB Warrior simply would not exist. And being a channel member gets you some really cool perks for helping support the channel. Not only do you get to watch videos like this one early, you also get a guaranteed spot in the Roast My Kit videos, you get exclusive access on our Discord server for some perks there as well. So if you want to learn more about becoming a channel member, there's information down in the description below, or if you're on PC, you can hit the join button right next to my username. Now back to the discussion at hand, I think the only chest rig that really meets where the RRV can be set up in modern day is the Plat Attack Mark V. I think they call it the Peacekeeper. It does pretty much everything that this setup does, however, some things it does a little bit better. It has 3 closed tops on the front, giving you 6 mags native. It has 2 giant general purpose pouches, and it has some molly for whatever other types of pouches you want to put on there. The setup for this chest rig is widely inspired by that one, so I think it'd be a fun comparison to compare the 2 of these, because they each have some features that the other doesn't. That one can hold 6 mags natively, but it is a sewn-in design. You can't change the pouches around. This one has the admin biv. If you want to run that, Plat Attack doesn't have that, but that one's also swift clip compatible. So I think comparing the 2 would be an interesting follow-up video to this one, mainly so I can give myself an excuse to buy one of the Plat Attack chest rigs. But let me know what you guys would think down in the description below. Also, to make sure to let me know what you think of the RRV. These can still be found for relatively cheap. Admittedly, the Ranger green ones are getting a little hard to find, but I've seen brand new unissued like khaki ones for like 80 bucks online, and the khaki Special Forces load carrying system pouches are still super cheap as well. The Ranger green stuff's kind of expensive, but again, if you don't care about the color and just want to go khaki, there are plenty of options out there. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.